What is up, YouTube? It's Leah's mom, Ty. My video today is about taking a break from TTC and why I lost my, or got rid of my OBGYN. Stay tuned. Right. So, anyone who's TTC knows that you don't want to have to take a break. You want to just go until you get your take-home baby. But right now, I am being forced into a break because I don't have an OBGYN, which means I can't get my medication, which means I can't be monitored, and blah, 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 blah. I could go back to my REI, but it's really, I'm not ready to take that step just yet, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. So first, let me backtrack and tell you why I no longer have an OBGYN. So a lot of you may already know about, I had a hysteroscopy and DNC February 4th. I'll link the video in the cards above and in the description box below. But that'll tell you about a little bit what happened in the what happened with the procedure. But I'll just give you the cliff notes of I had a reaction to either I thought an allergic reaction to some medication that they gave me, or they had intubated me and didn't tell me. Well, come to find out, I was intubated and was not told. So before I start there, after the hysteroscopy, I called my doctor's office the very next day. Well, not the very next day, 2 days later, when I can talk again. I'll watch the video so you can understand and put it into context. But when I could talk again, I actually called the doctor's office and left a voicemail message with her MA. Now, I never heard any call, so the next day I called again, never heard a call, got a call back. So I called patient relations. Now, this is for anybody. If you're having issues, call patient relations for that person, hospital, or that doctor. It could be like a manager or something like that. But patient relations essentially goes above the manager because that's directly reporting directly to, if they're ambulatory, which is like OBGYN, PCP, general practitioner type of setting, they're usually out of base of a hospital or something. For me, the big three are DMC, Beaumont, and St. John here in Michigan. And so I call patient relations, and they will put you in touch with the person you need to like complain with or get answers to the questions that you need. So the young lady that I spoke to, she called my doctor's office, and she called me back, and she was like, I talked to the MA. She says she's going to get the doctor to call you. No call. So now this is going on 4 or 5 days after my procedure. I still don't know what happened to make me to make my throat swell up to the point where I ended up in the emergency room. So I'm calling, just trying to get some simple answers. No one's answering my call. So this is the OBGYN. So I'm not thinking anything unusual at the moment because she had nothing to do with me either being intubated or having an allergic reaction that had something to do with my throat. She is down in the nether region, so that I never even like put 2 and 2 together to be like maybe she ducking me or something like that. But come Friday, my procedure was on a Monday. Come Friday, I'll call the patient relations people back like, look, I still have not talked to anyone. No one's calling me back. What's good? So let me backtrack just a little bit. A few days before, I called I called my doctor's office a few days after my procedure. Now, this was before I wasn't getting any callbacks. I spoke to like a call center person, and I wanted to come in on the 27th of February because I already had that day off, and since I just took the 4th off, I didn't want to keep taking days off. So I said, can I be seen on the 27th? And she's like, well, the doctor does her follow-ups on Thursday, which would have been the 28th. And I said, okay, we'll call the office and see if you can get permission to squeeze me in, because a follow-up is a follow-up, whatever day she does it. As long as y'all got slots, I'm not asking to be fit in any special treatment. Like, if you are, it's a follow-up. That is not like, you know, these are her prenatal days, these are her pap smear days, whatever it is. A follow-up is going to be quicker than all that stuff. So she calls to the office and she gets the MA for my doctor on the line, and she says, okay, you can come in at 1 o'clock on the day I asked, which was the 27th of February. So fast forward a few days and I'm still not receiving a call. Now, even when I call the call center, they can't get anybody to come answer the phone at the front desk. So I'm like, that's weird. But they don't know it's me, so I'm not like, oh, they're ducking me, or they're, you know, trying not to get my phone calls. So instead of calling patient relations back, I'm like, I'm going to see her on the 27th. So I'm going to just bottle this, you know, this, I don't even want no more merry-go-round stuff. I'm going to speak to the doctor specifically and talk to her face-to-face and let her know I don't like this, not being able to get in contact with her when it's something that has something to do with her. So fast forward to the 27th. I go to my appointment and I'm signing in and I sit down. 20 minutes goes by and they call me up and they're like, Mrs. Willis, you don't have an appointment today. I'm like, yes, I do. And they're like, with what doctor? And I said the doctor's name. And they're like, oh, no one called you? She canceled her clinic today. No one called me, or I would not be standing in front of you checking in. Like, y'all waited 20 minutes. I signed in 20 minutes ago. Why am I just now being told that the doctor is not here? They ain't had no answers for that. So I'm like, oh, okay, I want to speak to the manager. So they get a manager, and that's not the manager, because I used to work for that company, and I know the manager, not personally, but I've seen her. I know who she is just from happenstance. I've seen her, heard about her, and everything like that, and I know she's not the manager. So I'm assuming that she's just a supervisor, and they just tell me she's a manager. So I tell her my grievance anyway, and, you know, she brings me to the back, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. No one ever called you to tell you what happened? That's not like them. They usually give their phone calls back. What must have happened is maybe she added you on the schedule, so she didn't put your name actually in the computer because you were an add-on. I said, well, I called and made this appointment 3 weeks ago. I don't know why I would have been an add-on when I was calling in enough time. But it's okay. I want my office notes. I want the operative notes from my procedure on the 4th of February. I signed my little release of information form. And she's like, you know what? Like, she's very apologetic at this time. She's like, you know, so I was very cool, calm, and collected. She was like, you know, I'm so sorry. You know, tomorrow I'm going to ask the doctor, because at this appointment, my follow-up appointment, we were supposed to go over, because apparently there were no more polyps found when I had the hysteroscopy DNC 5 years ago. There were polyps. So this time there was apparently no polyps found. And we were supposed to go to next steps, which was my HSG, where they shoot a dye through your tube. So I was supposed to be scheduling that. I wanted to get my husband another semen analysis because he hadn't done it since 5 years ago. And I was supposed to get my progesterone, because I have not had AF since Christmas. So, and she knew this too, and that was which was another reason I was kind of doubting this, how the hysteroscopy DNC went, because I had already, at the time of February 4th, not had a period since Christmas. And I had called the office 2 weeks before the procedure, because I left a voicemail, and I'm like asking for the progesterone to start a period, so maybe I would be on my period during the procedure, or have already started or coming off, because my periods are usually only 3 days long. Never got a call back. And that's before I even had my DNC. And I'm thinking in my head, well, maybe the doctor just said no and they're not just going to refill it. So I'm just, you know, maybe I can't take that progesterone so close to a procedure. This is what I'm thinking. So I didn't even think of, like, she just didn't get a doctor to, you know, I didn't think anything. I was just like, oh, okay. She's not calling it in, so I guess that's a no. So I had already had kind of doubts about what would have been found at the DNC, because my lining was so thick already. That's almost 60 days worth of lining when you're supposed to shed every, you know, 30. When I do actually have a normal cycle, it's about 34 days. And so it's already been a really long time and I still haven't had a cycle. And so I'm like, okay, so that's all that was supposed to happen at this procedure. I was supposed to get my medication, get those orders done so I can get everything scheduled and we can be moving on to the next thing to rule it out. So I was like, okay, send me my my records, if you can. You can mail them to me. And she was like, I'll fax them at your job. Like, I'll call you before and I'll fax them to you. Is that okay? And I'm like, that's okay. Yeah, perfect. I want to get these. I want to look at it and I want to see what happened, because at this point I still hadn't known whether I had been intubated or had an allergic reaction. Now, a little backstory. All the stuff that happened during the the hysteroscopy was done the same way that it was done last time. So, well, that's what I assumed, like the medication anyway. Excuse me. So I'm like, I couldn't have had an allergic reaction because I've taken all that stuff, but you can develop allergies. So I wanted to be sure. I want to see in the operative report everything that was done so I would know. And so she was like, okay, well, I'm going to ask the doctor that you want to know about the procedure, that you still haven't heard from her. I will make sure you get this operative report to you tomorrow. And then I'll also have her MA call you to get all that other stuff scheduled and everything like that. 2 days later, I received a phone call. Oh no, I didn't receive a phone call. So I called them, and lo and behold, the MA answered the line. And so I told her what I told her. I came on Wednesday, the 27th, the day you added me in on the schedule. And, oh no, first reaction was, oh no, that wasn't me. It was you. But I'm not about to argue on nobody's phone about who was and who wasn't. You're the MA. I know it was you. I know your voice. So I'm like, okay. Well, whoever it was told me I could come in and told me to be there at 1 o'clock, and no one called to reschedule me. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? I'm gonna talk to the doctor. The same things I told the manager is the same thing I told this MA. The MA called me back, and she said, well, the doctor said that she can't refill your medication, the progesterone, until you're seen in the office because you're supposed to be following up. Well, I was there to follow up last week. Where were you guys? No one called me. I wouldn't have been off of work that day. And I would have scheduled this out a little for, you know, I would have moved the appointment, like, had I known. So she's like, well, we'll accommodate you. If you can come any day next week, Wednesday or Thursday, we'll have you come in and be the last patient of the day. Next week, I literally was just off this week. You guys want me to take another day off next week? So I'm like, okay, last patient. I'm going to call my manager. I call my manager. She's like, oh, you know, go ahead. Fine, no problem. And I'm like, awesome. I have an awesome manager anyway, but I don't like this pulling me in to do this stuff, like doing a follow-up when you guys are the ones that made me not come to the appointment, essentially. But I did it. So the appointment was on the 4th of March, which was the next week, which was a Thursday. And so Wednesday the 3rd, I called, oh no, I'm getting my dates mixed up. I think the 7th. 7th was a Thursday. And then on the 6th, which was a Wednesday, I called the office and I said, I wanted to make sure that I'm on this schedule. This is the surgical, this is the phone people that just make appointments. It's not the office. And she's like, no, you're not on my schedule for tomorrow. Transfer me to the office, please. So she transferred me to the office. Somehow she gets them on the phone. And she says, so the doctor's inmate comes on the line. Yes, Miss Willis. Like I'm bothering her. Well, I just talked to this young lady, and she said, you don't have me on the schedule for 2:30 tomorrow. Well, I was like, and I left you a voicemail telling you that I would be here, and I just want to make sure. Yes, you're on my schedule for tomorrow. Oh, okay, because I just wanted to make sure, because this young lady just told me that I'm not on the schedule. Well, you're an add-on, so no, you're not on the schedule. We don't put add-ons on the schedule. Well, we just had this incident last week where you added me on for some odd reason, and I wasn't on your schedule, and no one called me when the doctor was not there. So I just wanted to be sure that I'm actually going to be seeing the doctor tomorrow when I'm leaving work early. Yes, you'll be seen. Like very monotone, very dry, like I'm bothering her or something like that. So I go. Next day, I show up at my appointed time at 2:30. Come on in, sign in, and immediately she says, front desk girl, oh, they didn't call you? The doctor is sick. She canceled her afternoon schedule. At this point, I am livid. When I tell you I wanted to hawk out and just like overturn, it was about to be the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I was about to turn some tables over. I was about to lose all my shit. So excuse the language. But I'm like, I just talked to that inmate yesterday, and I told her I was going to be here. If you guys cancel the schedule, she's like, you're not on the schedule. I'm not on the schedule. When I talked to her inmate yesterday, she told me that I was going to be seen and that she doesn't put add-ons on the schedule. I said, I just talked to her yesterday. I don't know what kind of memory she has, but if the doctor got sick, no one thought to call the add-on and tell her that the doctor was not going to be here. Now y'all done made me miss another day of work. Please get your manager. I don't even know what to say to you right now. So she goes get the manager, the one that I spoke to last time that said she was the manager. And she comes back, and I'm like, I'm telling her just like I told the front desk person, and I'm like, I just spoke to this girl yesterday. I told her I was coming. She confirmed that she put me on the schedule. She doesn't add add-ons or something like that, and she's telling me just come in anyway. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I'm here now, and there's no doctor. Well, and just like she said it just like this. Well, that was yesterday. With the hair roll and everything, girl. She said that was yesterday, and this is today. We didn't know the doctor was going to get sick. I was taking my pulse, like I could feel my blood pressure rising. I was like, I think she saw it in my face, because what she did, she was like, but you have a seat. I'm going to figure out what I can do. You do that, because I've taken off another day of work. I have not heard from the doctor since I've started calling 2 days after my procedure, which was a whole month ago at this point, because it's the 7th of March. I still have not spoken to her. You guys have rescheduled me twice. I have not gotten the operative report. The girl, when she came back, I said, and I spoke to you. You're supposed to be the manager. I told you I needed those reports mailed to me. Did you mail them? Did you fax them? No, I said that. So everybody in this office is crazy, is what you're telling me. Like y'all just a whole bunch of unorganized. I work in medical offices. I've worked in more than one, so I know how a medical office works. First of all, you can overbook a schedule. You can overbook a slot. She just didn't want to. You don't want to have to go in there. Fine, I'm not faulting you, but if you don't put somebody on a schedule, you should at least call them and say, keep it in your head, write it down on a note. This person is an add-on, just in case something like this happened. My husband is completely convinced that this doctor is ducking me. He's like, there's no way she cancels her schedule twice on you within 2 weeks, never returns a phone call of yours. And I'm inclined to believe him, except for what I had an issue with had nothing to do with her. When the manager came back and she was like, well, the doctor, she's reading me. She went and printed it out. Instead of giving it to me, she reads. And she says, well, the doctor says, yes, you were. Yes, you were intubated. And that's what this means here. But everything else went fine. And you're okay regarding that. And that you also have to come back to do the HSG. I can't give you a form for that. Now, I'm thinking in my head, I thought the doctor was gone. The doctor apparently canceled her afternoon schedule for some reason because she's sick. That's what the front desk, the lady told me. But you're talking like she's here. So she says, she brings me back a script and she says, here's the prescription for your progesterone. The doctor is in the back, but she's so sick that she's laying down. She wasn't even able to drive home. So she wasn't here. Now she's here, but she's so sick that she couldn't even take a minute, even though you telling her that y'all done essentially made me miss 2 days of work. And I haven't spoken to her in almost a month for a procedure that she said I could not get this medication until I came back in and seen her. And now you're telling me, here's the medication, you fine, here's the operative report, this is what it says, you're fine, you're free to go. So y'all made me take off another day of work. I'm still not going to see this doctor who is apparently too sick to even come out here and show her face and tell me that I am, ain't asked me any symptoms, how I've been feeling. She's just like, here's your prescription. You okay? You can go. Here's your prescription for your husband's semen analysis. The HSG needs to be scheduled. You don't need a script for it. Somebody will probably call you for that. Probably. But they won't. I know they won't. And I'm like, oh, okay. So, oh, all right. Oh, so y'all got me fucked up is what y'all got. Oh, okay. 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 All right. Okay. So it took me a minute to get myself together to where I wouldn't completely lose it in this doctor's office. And I'm sorry if this seems irrational to you, and maybe it doesn't seem that serious, but to me, this doctor, I've been with her close to 8 years now. She helped me get pregnant with my first daughter. I believed in her. She was somebody that I thought, like, was just not another, all of their doctors. We're not friends or anything like that. I'm not saying we were close or anything like that. But I thought we had a good relationship. I never had any problems with her before this time. But the events, whether it was her or her staff, which it had to be, a lot of it has to have been her staff, especially that in May of hers. But I can't take that kind of thing because right now I'm trying to TTC, and the fact that you don't even got time to pick up a phone and call me, and like I said, with the patient relations people getting involved, I know for a fact that the doctor knows that I've been trying to contact her, because they don't do middle people with patient relations. They go straight to the manager or the doctor. And by her talking to the MA, I know for a fact that the doctor knew that I had been trying to get in touch with her. So, now I'm without a doctor, because at the end of that, I took my prescription for the progesterone so I could go get it filled. So I can finally get AF, and I'm Flo, for those of you that don't know. And I still have the order from my husband to get the semen analysis, and I'm not going to do any of that stuff. I'm currently going to be looking for another OBGYN, which means my TTC is right now put on hold because I can't get a doctor to order me my Clomid or my Femera. I don't know which one I'm going to do. I actually have Clomid left over, because one time when I went to the like last year, the last time I got Clomid, they gave me a double order for somehow, and I didn't even notice it until I was until I had taken all my Clomid, and I'm counting up and making sure I didn't do anything wrong, and I just got 150 milligrams of Clomid left. So I could do that, but it's like then the next month I'll still be out, because I don't want to just thumb through my Yellow Pages app, thumb through it, or scroll through my Yellow Pages app and just pick the first OBGYN. I need to find an OBGYN that understands, you know, a little bit about fertility and is okay with this process, because this is not a process I want to go past, because it worked fine with my daughter, but I just want to do all my due diligence with the HSG and the semen analysis and ultrasounds and stuff like that to make sure everything is good. So in the meantime, while I am taking this medication, that we know it is for naught and that it's actually, you know, going to work at some point. So that is my rant. I am so over it. I never want to see that doctor or that doctor's office again. I am currently looking through getting recommendations for some friends, and, you know, looking at Health Grade, which is a great app, because a lot of people, website also, because a lot of people put reviews and stuff like that, so you kind of know. So I kind of want to get some good information. I don't think I know anybody that's in the Michigan area, but if you know of any good OBGYNs, go ahead and let me know in the comments below. And thanks for being here for this rant. I want to thank all my new subscribers for subscribing. Thank you for watching these videos. I have my Vitex video is through the roof, and I want to thank you guys so much. While I'm waiting for an OBGYN, I might just decide to do this Vitex again, because I don't know when it will be that I will get another doctor. So in the meantime, in between time, I might just go back to doing that, because it worked. I ovulated the very first time I started, well, not exactly at the time I started it, but the very first cycle that I had taken the Vitex, I did ovulate. So that is all that I have for right now. Go ahead and do that so you can get all up to date with me, because apparently this is going to be a long journey. And oh, and Leah says don't forget to give the thumbs up. Thanks.
Okay.
Leah wants to say something. Okay.
Okay. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you subscribe. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.